This is cinema. Cinema is back. The best theatre experience. This film deserves to be watched in IMAX. Have you heard these things a lot recently for Hollywood films? I have, and I have even said all these things. And have you noticed these things have become a new way for marketing Hollywood films? And it's actually working. How is that? And what can Indian cinema learn from this? Let's talk about it. Hello guys, I'm Nona Prince, and the idea for this video came when I saw F1 and the reception it received not just around the globe but in India especially. See, Hollywood has always been the leaders and pioneers in cinema. It's not just been the storytelling but also the technology that they've evolved to tell better story. Be it the evolution of the cameras, the different rigs, the setups, the visual effects, CGI, motion capture, and now even LED volume sets. They have kept evolving the technology and used that in their filmmaking. And the world has always played catch up with them. Like when the VFX era began in Hollywood, all the big films were coming with such heavy visual effects, and Avatar was the peak of it. And that over time has become saturated. The trend has been going down because it's just overdone. Every other film is that, and they all look the same. The quality has definitely fallen down, and we know all the pressure on the VFX studios. They get such less time to work on it. There's so many in production that they cannot really catch up, and films are just released with bad quality effects, and it's just not novel anymore. The audience are tired of it, and that's where the new trend has emerged. Shooting in real locations, doing things practically, which was the case back in the days, but that's coming back. And this movement has been led by Christopher Nolan, who's a big advocate of doing things practically, where he wants to do most of it in camera, and that just makes everything look more convincing and refreshing after the whole VFX era. Like literally filmmaking was shoot everything on green screen and we'll handle it in post. Literally people became lazy. Now it's not that Christopher Nolan doesn't use VFX, he uses it, but it's hidden in his film. Visual effects is not the selling point, it's just another tool in the arsenal of a filmmaker. That's what S.S. Rajamouli has said. It's about the storytelling, and VFX is just there to make it possible, not the other way around. And in recent times, more and more filmmakers are backing this. Tom Cruise is the biggest of them, doing all his stunts himself practically, not relying on the visual effects. And we saw that in Top Gun, and the same director did F1, which is again shot during real races on real tracks. And that is a big addition to why you have a great experience watching it. Even Superman, a superhero film, is doing a lot of things practically. To show an alien robot, they could have just used CGI, but they created real life puppet robots. The Jurassic World franchise, they have gone back from creating CGI dinosaurs to building life-size puppets. The Dune film, they have eliminated the use of green screen and blue screen so that they could go to real deserts and shoot. Even Marvel, who had become stagnant and the biggest culprit of doing everything VFX, their latest film Thunderbolts was shot practically for most of it. Now when we come to India, it's now that we're catching up with the VFX era. Now before, just like the industry, even the audiences were behind. But the problem is that's not the case today. They're up to date with the world because of the connectivity, the accessibility of all the films out there in the world. And that's why when you see the teaser for War 2, it looks so bad. Not just because the VFX is not good enough, but also that we are used to it now. We have seen all of it done the best way possible. The whole virus spy universe is creating films the way Hollywood used to do 10 years back, where now Hollywood is going for real stunts, going to real locations. The spy universe is doing all that using green screen, which is just outdated today. What Bahubali did back in 2015 and began the era of VFX, today we are still in the same loop, and that's why we are left behind. Today pan-India film means making a VFX heavy film. So what's the solution? Shoot everything real and practically? That's it, right? No. See, the whole idea is to bring the audiences to the theater to sell them the big screen experience. And it was easier to do with the visual effects because you can go wild with your imagination. You can do anything with it. You can transport the audience anywhere you want, even space. Like Tom Cruise is literally trying to do that in real. So, trying to go big without VFX is limited. But I always believe limitation empowers creativity. To give you that big screen experience, filmmakers are actually going for the big screen, which is IMAX with the best sound. But does having extra screen space really change anything? Does it really make it special? Because IMAX has really become a marketing tactic. Like every other big film wants to come in IMAX. Even in India, films like Sikandar and Thug Life also went for IMAX. And of course, they don't really work. It's literally a gimmick to charge more per ticket so they can make more money. So it's not just the more screen real estate, but also your creativity as a storyteller and a filmmaker. Let's take an example. Interstellar. I watched the film for the first time on my small laptop. The screen was not the best. I was watching the daytime. It was reflecting light of the window. You can imagine the sound coming off the laptop. Now the next time I saw Interstellar again was when it got re-released in IMAX, and I especially traveled to Mumbai to watch it. And it was something else altogether. Now of course, if you compare it to the laptop experience, anything would be better than that. But when you really experience it on that IMAX screen with the extra screen, it hits you different. But it is also backed by storytelling. That extra screen makes sense when you are in space, around the star, when you're going through a black hole, you're time traveling. That whole docking sequence with that music, like these ideas are so big that they deserve that extra screen, the biggest screen possible, so that you are more immersed into it. Just saying all this gave me chill. And Christopher Nolan has gone one step further. He's now shooting on IMAX film camera because they give you better visual quality than digital camera. During Oppenheimer, people were talking about how heavy and long the film reel for the IMAX 70mm projection was. Like, that film is just people talking most of the time, and it's still a cinematic experience. It's a story about atomic bomb being made. We never see how it's used, when it's dropped, and the destruction it caused. Just about the making of it can be so compelling on the IMAX. It's about using the platform really well. Take Sinners for example, Ryan Coogler's period vampire drama, again marketed as IMAX film. The story of it just happens in one night. There's no big action set pieces, but it's about the big idea of the film. It's about the storytelling. That whole music sequence in that film, it's a trip altogether. The F1 movie, yes, they are real cars, real racing, but it's about the staging, the narrative, the tension you create. It's about the clean execution of it. It's so easy to follow the action throughout, and I don't even know how the sport works. You experience being in the F1 car with the character, and it's the extra screen space that adds to it. The speed, the chasing cars, the maneuvers, the overtaking, it gives you an high. You feel as you're part of it. And the biggest thing is that this experience cannot be recreated anywhere else. You need to visit a theater, that too with the biggest screen, to experience it. And that's what pulling the audience is. It is a need after COVID. People are used to being at home and watching film. The OTT and the streaming boom has happened. So you need to create that FOMO. The audiences have to come to watch a movie in a theater. And they say it's already happening, and there are so many more to come. It's not just about watching a film, but experiencing it the best way possible, so that it's worth your money and time. In India, that's what we need to focus on, the experience. Now, we barely have 30 plus IMAX screens across the country. That's too few. To shoot a film for IMAX, you need IMAX cameras, which are very expensive, considering the fact that today also we make big films only with big stars, and most of the money goes there. But we need to overcome these challenges. The focus has to be on the content, but you also need to mix the big ideas with the big budget, and that is actually happening. We have so many films in pipeline for that. The biggest example is Nimit Malhotra's Ramayan. We recently got our first look at it. It is filmed for IMAX. They are going for that big experience that deserve to be watched in a big theater. It is one of the biggest projects of Indian cinema, and it is being treated like that. And there are many more to come, like Toxic. Yes, is taking that film global. I have a lot of hopes from Kantara Chapter 1. There are high hopes from the next installments of Kalki and Brahmastra. And of course, the visionary SS Rajamouli, his next film. We know what he can cook up, and he's actually going to real locations to shoot the film. So you know, there's so much hope, so much to look forward to. But until then, you can check out the best films of this year so far. How many have you seen? Do let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. I would love to discuss, and I will see you next time.